Hi and welcome to a new lecture in the RICS APC Essentials course. This course is crafted in order to help those who want to get chartered under the quantity surveying routes, and it helps the RICS APC candidates to take their understanding of the different areas of competencies from level 1 knowing, going to level 2 doing, and then ending with level 3 advising. And this lecture is crafted in order to tackle the tendering part. We have agreed to split the procurement and tendering into two separate lectures because of the immensity of the content, and this lecture will tackle the tendering part. And as we have explained in the procurement lecture, procurement and tendering is a core competency that is required up to level 3, which is advising. So starting with level 1, we're going to be discussing the difference between procurement and tendering, and then we're going to be shedding some light on different types of tendering procedures, and then we're going to explain how you can build a robust tendering strategy in place. And then we're going to be jumping to level 2, where we're going to be speaking about how to choose the best tendering strategy for the different procurement routes, and then we're going to be having a comprehensive approach to map out the tendering strategies to procurement routes, and then we're going to explain how the tendering strategies could fit inside the RIBA plan of work stages. We're going to expand on the pre-tender estimate and how to create it, and then we're going to be explaining the tender life cycle, and we're going to be diving deeper inside each and every single stage in that life cycle. And then we're going to be ending the lecture in level 3, which is advising, by giving some further advice to quantity surveyors and cost consultants and discussing some general points for quantity surveyors and cost consultants to be aware of. So let's explore the differences between the single stage tendering and the two-stage tendering. So starting with the single stage tendering, you would normally have the design crafted by the design team up to RIBA stage 4, and the RIBA stands for the Royal Institute of British Architects, and they have crafted a plan of work that accounts for the design and construction stages of the construction project, and it starts from the inception and it ends with the handover and closeout. So stage 4 is all about the detailed design, and once the design is quite detailed, that's where ourselves as quantity surveyors and cost consultants, we can jump in and then we can compile the bid documents, which are going to be sent out for different contractors to bid on. And the contractors, they're going to be submitting the tenders with the proposals, and here ourselves as quantity surveyors and cost consultants, we're going to be undertaking the analysis and comparison between the different tender submissions, and that's going to allow us to draft a tender report which details the analysis undertaken in addition to the recommendations for the preferred contractor. The preferred contractor would then be contacted and a final contract sum can be reached, and once the final price is agreed, that's where the contractor is going to be taking the responsibility of deploying the detailed design on the ground and taking the responsibility for the construction of the project. The two-stage tendering is more collaborative, and it relies on, as it says, 2 stages. The design is crafted by the design team up to RIBA stage 2, which is conceptual design, or RIBA stage 3, which is coordinated design, and that's where quantity surveyors and cost consultants are going to be putting these rough designs or conceptual designs in bid documents out in the market, and that's where the first stage is going to happen. The different contractors are going to be submitting their proposals, but not the fully completed proposals. The first stage relies on understanding the different qualifications of the different contractors, the projects that they have delivered, the technical capabilities, the innovation techniques that they adopt, in addition to the CVs of the people, the levels of insurances, and lots of other criteria that quantity surveyors will have to keep in mind. And once a tenderer is chosen to be the preferred contractor, that's where the preferred contractor is going to be working hand in hand with the design team to take the design up to stage number 4, which is detailed design. The contractor will have direct input to the design, whether through meetings with the design team or through a contractor design portion. And then once the design is complete, that's where the final contract sum is going to be reached, because the contractor is going to be able to price following the detailed design. Once that's done, and once the final contract sum is agreed between the parties, that's where the contractor is going to be taking the responsibility for constructing the project on site using the finalized design. So now let's start with level 2, which is doing. And the first thing we're going to be discussing in level 2 is the choice of the tender strategy. So take an example of having a project where the client wants to start early on site, and the client, they have the expertise to have direct relationships with the trade contractors. They want to have fast track delivery, and the client, they have quite a lot of contacts in the construction industry, so they can reach out to different trade contractors, and they also want to have an overlap between the design and the tender. At this point in time, the best tendering strategy to adopt is the two-stage tendering, where the contractors are going to be appointed based on a wide variety of criteria, as we have alluded to in the previous slides. And then in the second stage, the price is going to be negotiated. A second example is if the client wants to retain ownership and control over the design, which is going to be crafted by the design team. And also the client wants to have more cost certainty and also more time certainty from the contractor side. That's where single stage tendering procurement route is going to be the best option to adopt. Third example is when the client wants to delegate some of the design to the contractor, or even share the design risks with the contractor through having a design and build procurement route. Normally the design team, which is employed by the client, would craft the design up to RIBA stage 2, which is conceptual design, or 3, coordinated design, and that's where the input of the contractor is going to be really necessary in order to take the design up to stage 4, which is detailed design. So that's where a two-stage tendering is going to be the best approach, by evaluating different contractors and the proposals of them, and then getting the design up to stage 4 through a BCSA, or pre-construction services agreement, as we have explained previously. And then once that's reached, that's where the price is going to be negotiated with the appointed contractor to reach the best value for the client's money. And this is all for this video, which is meant to be an extended trailer or a teaser. And if you want to have full access to the full length, the recorded videos, the notes, the presentations, and the question and answer banks, do not hesitate to get enrolled on the APC Essentials course on the APC Mastery Path web portal. And you can make the best use of a coupon code, which is APC35, for a 35% discount. All the best in your APC journey. Thanks a lot for watching, and catch you in the next video.